The other question I get asked is, now that I've got Qt Creator, where do I begin? What do I even do? Well, we're going to cover how to make projects. We're going to cover that pretty much in depth, but I want you to be aware there's these other buttons as well. Examples, which you can search for just about anything. We're just going to say QML. And again, there's tons and tons of QML examples in here. They come with complete source code, complete notes, and you're good to go. The caveat being, of course, you're kind of expected you know what you're doing with QML. So it's kind of the chicken or the egg scenario. How do you really begin? They have this tutorials button, and I don't want to detract you from this. There's some really great info, but there really isn't a step-by-step tutorial on this is where you begin, and here's step 1, step 2, and step 3. They're just kind of self-contained videos, and some of them can get pretty in-depth pretty fast. So if we just type in QML, you can see the information's a little bit sparse, and most of it's like, hey, here's a 9-minute introduction, here's a 50-minute how to use a C++ model. So they go from intro to using C++. There's a lot they're skipping in between. So again, this information is available as soon as you download Qt Creator, but it may not be a complete information bank for you to readily use. The other thing that a lot of people don't cover is that once you install Qt, you get this little guy called the maintenance tool. And you've probably seen this before. If you go into Tools and where is it? Check for updates. Here we go. It's a little different on each platform, but if you click this guy, you'll see down here. And what that's doing in the background is it's running the maintenance tool. And I've already updated, so I know it's going to come back with nothing. But basically, let's go out here. You can run this maintenance tool on your own. Let's run this. And it says this installer provides you with the option to blah, blah, blah. You know all this already. Just click next. But one thing I wanted to point out is new in the latest version of Qt, you have to have an account, period. If you do not have an account, it will not let you pass go. You'll have to actually sign up for one. So let's just put in my super secret password there. And then notice how it was validating license and all that. Initially, it's going to say remove all components. So do not do that unless you want to do, well, a complete reset of Qt, because it will remove everything. You can add, remove, or update. I've already updated, but we're going to go to add, remove. I'm going to show you the bare basics of what I have installed. One of the questions I get is, hey, I installed this on Linux and it was about a gig. I went to install it on Windows and it was like 500 gigs. What gives here? Okay. A lot of people will say, just download Qt, and well, it's going to download every single version of Qt. Or they'll say, just download this version. You have to actually expand these out. If you start adding in like Android or iOS if you're on Mac and all these other little options, your installation goes up. This is 7 gigs right out the door. The bare basics, what you need for this course really is just desktop. You don't need the sources, the charts, the visualization, the purchasing, any of this stuff. You really just need desktop. And then you need the developer tools, namely, of course, Qt Creator, which comes bundled. And I also have the installer framework, but it's not needed for these tutorials. But notice how just this one option is 135 megs. If we just kind of thumb through here, the source alone is 2.3 gigs. So if you don't need it, simply don't install it. This is almost the exact same screen you're going to see when you're doing the initial install of Qt. So when in doubt, the bare bones minimum for this tutorial is your version of Qt that you want to work with, the desktop, along with Qt Creator, which comes bundled, and that's it. You don't need any special snazzy things. You don't need Android or iOS. You don't need debug files or any of this other stuff. It's helpful, yes, but if you're on limited bandwidth or you're just very impatient like me, you don't need to do all this stuff. On Windows, this becomes a nightmare. This can easily balloon well over 15, 20 gigs of information because you've got multiple compilers, multiple data sources, all this other stuff, and it gets nuts. So when in doubt, go with the bare minimum, and you're good to go.